Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Kristen Donnelly of the Good Doctors of Abbey Research. At Abbey Research, we believe that curiosity can change the world because it's the only thing that actually ever has. The more curious we are about ourselves and each other and the world around us, the fuller and richer our human experience can be. And this series is in service of that. It's called Welcome to My World, and I get the incredible privilege of talking to fascinating folks from all over the place about something in their lives that we should know more about. Because once we know more about it, then our life gets richer. And today's guest is absolutely no exception. I'm talking to Jacqueline Perez, who we all on Clubhouse refer to as Jack. She is the founder of Kuel Life, which she founded in 2017. And I'll tell you what Kuel Life is in just a minute. She champions pro-aging for women midlife and beyond. And I'll tell you, I think the language of pro-aging is beautiful and something we do not talk about enough. So it's not just neutrality, it's pro. She's determined to normalize aging versus meaningful, curated conversation and women-driven brands. The Kuel Life is a community, and I'm going to have her explain a little bit more about that in a minute. But before she did that, she spent 20 years at Summit Strategy Partners, a San Francisco-based marketing and public relations firm where she was a founding partner. Jack brings extensive, deep startup experience, and she's worked with hundreds of small and mid-sized companies. Super on the ground, bootstrap stuff going on here. She's finally excited to have birthed her own startup, and I love that language. She earned an MBA from the University of Chicago. She's fluent in Spanish. She has a clear grasp on cross-cultural influences. She loves spending time with her son and traveling, which we definitely have in common. She lists Cuba, Jordan, Zambia, Bolivia, and Zanzibar as some of her favorite places to travel. And as much as I would love to talk about those, I think our richest conversation is going to be about Kuel Life. So Jack, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me, Kristen. I am so excited to be here. So yay!
So let's kick it off. Tell me about Kuel Life.
Well, you said it in a nutshell. It is a digital platform that's designed to further in the sea change of what we in this particularly in North America view as aging, right? I believe, not every culture is the same, although the platform is global. And I do have contributors from around the world because I think it's important to get different perspectives, as you noted, about my cross-cultural penchant for cross-cultural ideas and views, because I believe that more information and constant curiosity is definitely the key. So that being said, I built the platform because I really believe that we are at a crossroads, especially in North America and our culture, where we are seeing more and more humans that are 45 and above, right? I mean, from a sheer number perspective, Gen X and baby boomers outnumber any other cohort on the planet currently. So why is it that there's so much shame around it? And why is it that we aren't seen in the media? Why is it that I feel like the products that I view are either the mini skirt that I won't wear anymore because I don't feel comfortable in the mini skirt, but then the next thing that's targeted to me is Depends. I'm not incontinent. And I'm a far cry from incontinent. And so for me, there has to be some space between the mini skirt and the Depends. And that's the space that I'm curious to cultivate and further. And I can't do it alone. It has to be with all of us. We have to do it arm in arm because I'm one human. And some people will say I'm pretty loud and tenacious, but I'm still only one human. And that's why, Kristen, that is why I built the platform, was because I really felt a need to contribute and be part of the sea change of the way we view aging in our world.
And what have you seen since starting the platform? Have you seen any changes at all?
Yes, Kristen, I have.
Excellent.
Now one could ask, am I seeing changes because I'm looking for them, meaning I'm in the environment, or am I truly seeing changes? And I honestly, I'm gonna be the ever hopeful optimist that I am, glass half full, Pollyanna. I'm gonna go with that. I'm seeing changes because we're making them happen. Okay. And not just me, but since I have been active in this space, and looking for content contributors and looking for other women out there who had the same sentiment, and also realized that the alone factor wasn't going to help any of us, that we really needed to lock arm in arm. And it's the collective power of women that is the powerful force here that we're talking about. And so since I've done that, I believe I do see some changes. I believe I do. In the Athleta catalog, I now see women who are older. We were really excited when media started showing us different sized people, right? And different ethnicities. But still, the gray-haired model or the wrinkles were still airbrushed out or not used at all. And now I believe I'm seeing some brands stepping up to the challenge, like Athleta, Dove. There's other big brands. We have a long way to go, but I do believe that we're making a difference.
And what about in the kind of personal stuff? So there's that macro social advertising, and we talk about that all the time in this channel, the importance of seeing yourself in the culture that you inhabit. But when you're working with folks kind of more one-on-one, which some of this work is, what are the patterns you notice the most about people having to shift from anti to pro aging?
Yes. And, it's interesting that you say that or ask that question. It's a really great question. And the thing with aging, as far as ism, it's the one ism that we do to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. We look in the mirror. We don't like to see, we feel badly about what we see reflected upon back to us, the line, the wrinkle, the sag, the age spot. And then we start to make ourselves smaller and more invisible. So it's a combination. We can't just rely on, as you were saying, society or the media to change. We need to change internally, and as individuals, and then as a collective. And what I have seen is, one-on-one, and you have to start small. One-on-one, I am starting to hear women using different language when it comes, to the fact that they're aging. But listen, Kristen, I have to tell you, this is the best season of my entire life.
Ooh,
this is it.
That's exciting.
I'm like, it doesn't get any better than this. And I'm thinking, oh no, but maybe it does get better than this. Maybe in my 60s and 70s, it's even better. But I'm here to tell women, like, there are so many gifts that come with being a seasoned individual on this planet, having the wisdom, having the experiences, having been knocked down and dragged across the floor several times, just so that look, I'm going to survive this. This is not going to kill me. As a matter of fact, this is a blip on the screen compared to some of the other things that I've managed to not only survive, but thrive through. And I am starting to hear that, Kristen, in individuals when they speak to me about, I lead a club, you said Clubhouse, right? Because you mentioned my name, and Clubhouse is Jack. And I started a room in the Second Act Sisters Club, which is a club I founded back in January, where we get together 2 times a week and literally just share, learn, and play. And we talk about all the gifts of being in this season in life, and how some of the things that we've just gone through, whether it's getting ready for a holiday or having our children leave the house, whatever it is that's going on, how much better it is because of the way we are handling it, because of our age, not despite our age, not in spite of our age, but because of it. And it's just they're brilliant conversations, and it's so inspiring and empowering, and we're making the change. It's happening.
I love it. But I'm also aware that we're talking a lot about mindset stuff. And one of the pieces of aging is bodies, and that bodies don't quite work the same way. I remember a evolutionary biologist telling me that we all begin to decay at the age of 21. That's our peak physical self is 21. And then we are in a constant state of decay, which just freed me up to not care a lot because I learned that at 28, I was like, oh, so I'm already on the downhill slope. Amazing. I love it. This is great. But there are increasing limitations by the older we get. And I'd imagine that is a piece of this mindset thing that people can really push back against you with. Well, my body literally doesn't work the same way anymore. I literally cannot do these things anymore. My mind is not as sharp as it once was. There are realities here. So how do you guide people through those elements of this journey and not just the decisions we make to decide that we're old?
Stop comparing yourself to what you could do at 30. Just stop it. You're not your 30-year-old self. You're not your 40-year-old self. And sure, I started Taekwondo in my 40s and I became a 3rd-degree black belt. And towards the end of my training, after about 12 years, I found that it was getting harder and harder for me to do head level kicks. And I backed away. I decided not to do martial arts anymore. And my master instructor had said, but don't kick as high. Kick low if you want. You don't have to leave. And I said, no, that's not the way I want to handle this. I want to go out doing this art form the way that I know that I could do it. And I will go find something else that's fulfilling. And so I moved on. I moved on to powerlifting. I moved on to something else. I moved on to something that I was capable of doing. There's something that you're capable of doing. It may not be what you could do at 30. It may not be what you could do at 40. Hell, it might not have been what you could do at 55. I mean, I'm 57. There is something you can do. Stop. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison will kill you. Wipe your slate clean. Look at who you are. Look at what you want and redefine what your body can do for you, and let it go. Let it go, because you will be miserable if you keep referring to yourself in the past about what you could do and what you can't do. And I don't know if I agree with who was it that said you start decaying at 21?
An evolutionary biologist.
Well, it's hard not to agree with him because he probably has a PhD in the subject matter. I just know that I had my best body, my best physical body at 47 years of age. Like, if I could go back and tell my 28-year-old, relax, lady, you don't need to worry about it. You've got this, So I think you just have to look at where you are and make the right decisions for you at that time and let go of what you used to be.
I think that's wisdom for all of us. Let go of who you used to be, and to a certain extent, I think for some of us, there's a grieving process in that. Like we can't just shut the door. We have to say, okay, that was wonderful and beautiful and it is over, or that was traumatic and terrible and it's over, and go through the process of grieving it. But the idea that you are not who you were is something that, oh God, I just wish everybody would internalize. It's why I hate the phrase, let's get back to normal, because there is no normal. You are not who you were before. We are always something new. We are always recreating ourselves every day in small or in large ways. So I love that. And I have a feeling I know the answer to this question, but I want to ask it anyway. What is your favorite part of your job?
This talking. No, I mean, seriously, talking to women, sharing experiences, because each and every time, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This was a completely total selfish play on my part. I felt isolated. I started to feel invisible. As you were saying about grieving, I was grieving the loss of my pre-menopausal everything. Menopause hit me like a tractor trailer. You name the symptom, I had it. Everything from weight gain to not being able to regulate my emotions to brain fog. I had each and every one of them. And I honestly thought at 52 and 53, oh my, is this it? Is this like really truly the beginning of the decline? I managed to get this far, but now I can't stop it. And yeah, I grieved and I lamented it and I cried and I did a ton of research to figure out, okay, well, what is going to be the new Jack? Because this version that I'm heading into is not the one that I want to step into. So I need to take control and I need to figure out what is still available to me and go in that direction. And when I have conversations with other women and we talk about their moment of aha, or if they haven't had their moment of aha, but they get a glimpse of it while we're conversing, or because of something I said in a clubhouse room, or because of something they read in one of the articles on Kuel Life, I get so much out of that. It lights my world up in such a way. Yeah, there aren't even any words. I don't know if you can feel the
I certainly can.
Is that what you thought I would say?
Yes, pretty much. That the people aspect of it is the best part of your job. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not that you're predictable. It's that you're on brand. And that you live who you are all the time. And so in any circumstance that we encounter, those of us who know you encounter you're consistent because this is your whole life's passion. It just pours out of you. So yes, that was my guess to your answer, but I'm really glad you got to unpack that for our viewers.
This is the easiest thing I've ever done because I'm just going to be me all day long. I don't have to, I did the corporate finance thing in Hewlett Packard, and I had to go put on the suit and drive the miles and do the corporate environment. And I was miserable because I wasn't me. This is the easy, okay, I work harder than I've ever worked in my entire life, but this is the easiest thing that I've ever done.
Yeah, that's a little bit how I feel right now is that, I am never not working, but it's not as draining as anything else I've ever done. Like there are projects that I've done in my life, and I've been very privileged that higher ed learning is the thing that energizes me. And I've been doing that for a good chunk of my life. But this in particular, this kind of seated, I read really depressing things all day, but then I get to translate it into a way that helps people be better people. And like, for me, that just fires me up on the inside. Like, okay, so this is one of the realities of humanity, but what can we learn from it to me, richer humans and fuller humans and deeper humans? What can we do? And I am never as exhausted right now as I used to be when I was doing my PhD. So, which I loved and I adored, but so much of the garbage of that life was so draining to who I was. I love it when folks are like, hey, it's not that you'll never work hard a day in your life if you find a job that you love. It's that it won't drain you. That hard work doesn't become draining. And when you're not a martyr to exhaustion.
Well, it's actually the opposite, I find. So instead of, that 10 or 12 hours that I may put in a day, or that extra conversation I have, or that extra clubhouse room, or that extra whatnot, instead of draining me, it actually fills my cup even more. Right.
Right.
So yeah, it's hard. And honestly, another part of being older, because you know yourself better. If you've been paying attention to you for this length of time and you bother to take a look and just stop for a moment, you know you better than anybody. And so by this stage of the game, we've done enough things that we don't like, and we've encountered enough things that we do like, that we can do that. And I've just been very, very lucky that it happened for me at a time where I was 53, and one could think, well, 53, you're just figuring it out. I'm like, 53, whoop, whoop, I got lots of time. So.
I love it. I'm thinking a lot about right now. We work with a lot of college kids, and thinking about, like when I was in college, I was already getting told to use anti-wrinkle cream. And to like really, people were obsessed with necks when I was in college. It was like, just remember to moisture. Everything was about necks. I don't understand. But if,
I'll tell you why the neck thing is. I'll tell you why, because you can do a lot to your face, but there's not a lot you can do to your neck. So people who do like a lot of like either Botox or Juvederm, and their face looks perfect, just look down here and you'll be able to tell how old they are, or on their hands, right? Because that's where, but who cares? I have hands that are 57 years old, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And I don't, if people, I have several friends that get Botox and have had plastic surgery and things like that, and that makes them their more confident self. And if that is true, rock on. But it's just one of those, like, don't do it. I hope it's not your most confident self because other people have told you it's your most confident self. I hope you haven't fallen into that trap. But I'm wondering what you would say to my college kids now about thinking about aging.
Oh gosh, all sorts of things. A couple of things come to mind, and that's not just about aging. It's also about what are you going to be when you grow up, right? And I know I have some college-aged younger cousins, and a lot of talk about, oh my God, I don't know what to major in, and what am I going to do? And I'm like, girlfriend, when I went to school, what I do now didn't exist.
Correct.
Just let that sit for a minute. there's a high likelihood that what you will end up doing at some point in time in your life isn't even in existence today. So take a deep breath. And then the other thing I would say specifically about aging is that it just gets better because you start to care less and less and less about what others think of you. And that is the most rewarding and enriching place to come from. And when you can exude that energy from within, no wrinkle, no age spot, you will be that bright, shiny star for as long as you're breathing on this planet. And there's so much runway, and it gets better. It just gets better. And I want younger people to really get that aging is something to not necessarily hurry up, right? I mean, don't wish away today. Don't wish away your 20s. Don't wish away your 30s. But I got to tell you, I wouldn't go back. I would not give up what I have now. I would not give up my wisdom. I would not give up my peace. I would not give up my just self-assurance. I would not give any of that up for a few less wrinkles. Just wouldn't do it.
You could not pay me money to do high school again. So yeah, I completely agree. And that's a beautiful place to end. Jack, thank you so much for this really vibrant and lovely conversation.
Thank you, Kristen. I had so much fun talking with you, and you are so easy to chat with. So anytime, I'm all yours. And if you ever need me to talk to your students, I'm happy to do so.
Amazing. Pals, if you like this conversation as much as we did, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button below. It really does help that algorithm. And if you enjoy this kind of vibe that I give off in terms of the kind of conversations we're having, subscribe to the channel because we have lots of these. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift. If you've got questions or comments for Jack in particular, make sure to comment below and I'll make sure she sees them and we can keep this conversation going. All the ways to get in touch with her are also below in the show notes, and so don't miss those out. Once again, I want to thank my incredible guest, Jack Perez, the founder of Kuel Life, for joining me today. And I would absolutely, any age person, if you are a lady and would like to be in community with other ladies, this is a great place to start. My name is Dr. Kristen Donnelly. This has been Welcome to My World, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.